Hello everyone, welcome to Team Inquirer. Today we have one of the most promising jazz musician, Rotem Sivan with us. Let's hear about his musical journey, his passion for music and everything about him. Hello Rotem, welcome to the interview.
Pleasure.
I would like to know, because today in this world, it's not an easy thing to be, live the life of an artist. As Robert Frost says, it's a road less traveled by. How did you get that courage to be an artist, to follow your passion?
That's interesting. I think my family, my parents are not artists in a formal way, but they're very creative people, and they're both psychologists in profession. But they always supported what I wanted to do, and tried to help me understand how to do it better, and they were very supportive in my music journey. And I would say, without that, it would definitely be much harder. Supported, they told me to go for it and do what I want to do. And some families are harder, with different ideas, like, being professional artists or whatever that means. It's definitely a complex path, but it's definitely a beautiful one.
Yes, of course it is. I heard that your first gift, guitar, was given to you by your grandpa.
Yeah.
And I think from there you have started with your music journey. So let's hear about your very beginning of your music journey.
Sure. I guess I got my first guitar from my grandparents when I was, I think, 4 or 5. And I kind of played, but, I just played with it as a child. And later on, I started playing guitar. And after, I guess I got more serious when I was in high school. And then after high school, I went to university. I studied classical composition in Tel Aviv University, and then continued my studies in New York City at the New School for Jazz and Contemporary Music, which I graduated about 3.5 years ago. And I live in New York. I work there, and I have a trio that we playing different locations in the US, and as well as touring a lot in Europe and South America, and recording a few albums. And
This Israel music tradition or something does have an influence on your music?
I think one of the special things about jazz that it really allows, it's a very open platform that is allowing a mix of different ideas and genres within. So basically all the influences that I had growing up or have right now, right now I'm in India, and again studying and being surrounded by different musical experiences, so all these things affect the music, and I can take that into jazz. So again, I mainly practice and study jazz, but since it's a very special platform, you can infuse that with different ideas. So that's the beauty of that. So I'm just taking things that I like and being inspired from, and whether it's, again, folk music, Indian music, classical music, or, different things that I connect with, and I'm trying to bring it to jazz, to what I'm trying to do. And we don't even have to call it jazz, we could, that's fine, but it's just music,
Yes. Okay, how come I can use the word, you are in love with jazz, right? So how do you choose jazz, and how can you find out that jazz is going to be your, the very best way to express yourself?
It's a good question. I don't know. I remember just listening to friends of my brother gave me a CD, an album of Christiane Scudé and Pat Metheny and Wes Montgomery, as well as John Scofield, a few guitar players. And I remember listening and just not understanding what's going on there, but understanding that it's a world of of magic. That's how I felt about it, and not just jazz, but music in general. And I remember also listening to Bach and trying to say what is going on there. What is this thing? So I mean, I'm still fascinated. I just love sounds, and jazz in particular, the fact that you can create in a way your own world and really be creative with different elements was and still is very appealing to me. So it was this kind of like exploration process, I would say. But the first step was just being overwhelmed by this mysterious world that is, wow, jazz. What is that?
Okay. You have performed with Peter Bernstein and some other great musicians in jazz gallery and the very famous places venues. So, how was that experience? I really hope that it's going to be one of the most memorable days in your life. So, how was that?
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, these guys are really heroes for me. So it was very exciting, and it's just a great honor to play with them. And one of the beautiful things about jazz is that it's a music that people play together. So it's always collaboration, and we learn from each other. So for me, playing with these guys, it's just a lesson. So it's great.
You have been in Israel, you have been in New York, both of the places you were studying. Then you are in India, in Swarna Bhumi, in the academy, which follows the Gurukula system. So how do you see the cultural difference there? And how do you think of the students here and students there? So
yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, the students in the academy, they're coming from a very different background that people, in New York, I would say. So some of them, they have studied classical Indian music in great depth, and they can sing amazing, very accurately, Hindustani things, very complex rhythmic ideas and elements. And then for them to be exposed to a different language, they it's beautiful to see the process, because they take the ideas and they eventually morph it and say, oh, it's like this, just so it's great. I love it. Although some of them are not coming from a strictly jazz background, they're great students, so it's a pleasure. Yeah.
Your trio. There's a Haggai who plays the bass, and Collins is also there. So we would like to know more about your trio experience. How did you guys meet, and how did you win with this beautiful band friendship? And how does that trio thing happen?
It's my trio. It's called Rotem Sivan trio. But again, we're all a part of it. So Haggai I met in New York, actually. Although he's originally from Israel, we met in New York. And from the first time we played, I was like, okay. It felt really good, and just started playing more, and it became this thing, and we were very, very close friends as well. And Colin is the same thing. I remember when I was in New School, when I was studying, there was a performance, and he was playing a recital there. And I remember listening to him and saying, wow, this guy, I want to play with this guy, So, and afterwards I had a few shows, and he could make them, and we started playing and doing more things, and it was this gradual thing and process.
You perform with trio, and I heard that your first album was The Enchanted Sun. It was in 2013.
Yeah.
Then for emotional use only. That's very nice name.
Thank you.
And then your third album was also there. And you are planning with your fourth one. So you just, 1 year, one album, you purposefully doing that?
I'm trying to be productive. That's this one is coming out soon, so it's going to be a little bit more than a year since the last one was out, but that's the plan. About something like that. And this coming album is very exciting for me, because we recorded it a little bit differently, and we incorporated different elements in the process of the mixing and the mastering. So this one is called Antidote, and it will be available in a few months, in July 2017.
Release is going to be in July.
Yeah, exactly.
So where is it going to be? New York?
The release will be in New York. Before that, we're actually playing a long tour, a month tour in Europe, which is somewhat of a pre-release tour for the album.
Yes.
We're playing a few festivals and a lot of clubs in Europe, in Germany and Belgium and France and Italy and different countries. And I'm excited.
Yes. So all the best for your album. So now you have been in India. I think it's for the first time you are in India. You are learning Carnatic, right?
Yeah.
Yes. See a a future of Carnatic music mixing with jazz, or rather music. I have to call it music. So mixing of that.
Definitely. I just started learning some Carnatic music, like you were saying, some raga and some, you know, percussion, ideas, and some different things like that. Yeah, I'm sure it will affect my music. It will take some time, but I'm exploring it. So the first step is learning a little bit, and of course, Indian classical music is a huge world, and you need to spend a lifetime, if not more, to learn that. But I'm just trying to explore a little bit and take some ideas and understand how it works, to understand how the music ticks, what makes it so beautiful, whether again it's Jimi Hendrix or Zakir Hussain. For me, it's the same in that sense. It's something very good fundamentally that I can learn from. Yeah.
So you have recently performed in Oroville, Odolak, and we all were there. So we would like to know about your performance. How was it? Your total experience in Oroville. During your performance, you have used the small instruments with along with your guitar. So how did you find them? Is it your own creation, or did you find them from you travel a lot from those places? So how did you find that this one can go with the guitar and it's going to be more appealing to people? So how was that?
It's I guess a path of exploration, and you guys were a part of that exploration.
Yeah, you told that during
yeah.
the performance.
Yeah. So again, I'm not very used to play solo concerts, so I'm just trying to figure out a way that it will sound very full, and the rhythmic element is not only be present, but will be very vivid. So I was trying to find different percussive things, to make it kind of alive. That's why the bells and all these kind of things that I was using. I also just like the sounds, and it makes it's like if you're listening to good pop music or good hip hop music, the element of production is quite remarkable, and it's just the soundscape changes all the time, which creates a lot of interest. And I think for people that are not coming from a jazz background, sometimes they get bored or not engaged because they are not they don't know the language enough to understand exactly what's going on. So for me, I can relate to it, and I like having different sounds going on. So I'm trying to incorporate these ideas as well. What I discovered recently is I was installing a microphone in the guitar too. It's like basically like an acoustic microphone. So I discovered I can tap some things on the guitar and create some rhythmic ideas, and then if I loop them, I can create more ideas, and the brushes thing that I was playing on the guitar. So yeah, these are all very new ideas from maybe 2 or 3 months ago that I'm working on. So it's very much in process.
Hey Rotem, we would like to know more about your musical experiments and your coming plans.
Sure. Well, first I would say we can all keep in touch over social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or the website rotemsivan.com. And 2 big things that I'm planning is the album release of Antidote in July 2017, and the second thing that just happened a few weeks ago was I released an online guitar course, which is available for people to check out, and there is a link from my website, so you can just go to the website and check it out, and it's also on YouTube. So yeah, that's what I'm up to now. Yeah.
Tell us about your online course, and how are they responding very well, and is it easy to access also?
Yeah, it's very easy to access, and I was again fortunate to meet some people during my studies. It's never ending studies, but and I'd like to share this information, and some of it is just a few ideas that I kind of wish that someone would tell me when I got more and more into music. So I'm kind of happy to share it with students and people that wants to play guitar. It's for different levels, so even if you're a beginner, it's great because there are a lot of basic ideas of how to practice and how to progress faster and learn faster, basically. The course is divided to small and short lessons, and there are music elements and tabs and notation, and it's all there. So
I
they can
think
check it
that's
out.
going to be really helpful for people who really wants to learn music, and that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, Rotem Sivan, for spending time with us, sharing about your musical experience, your personal life experience, and all. And wish you all the best with all your musical experiments and the two big plans that you said it's going to be happen. All the best for your new musical video also.
Thank you so much.
So thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
This is Anna Kirti signing off from Team Inquirer.